Hello everybody, it's Pop over here, and welcome back to another chill speed paint video. Yay! This one is of a new character design I've been playing around with. As you can see on the right of the screen where I have the references open, these were some of the doodles I made prior to making this painting. And this character design actually goes all the way back from October, during Inktober, where I was designing a character for one of the prompts, but ended up not using them. That's the one on the bottom. Originally this character was going to be a demon, like a snow demon, because the prompt was or two of the prompts was angel and the other one was demon, and I wanted to merge them together and have the idea be one was going to be a snow demon and the other one was going to be like a fire angel, but I didn't ended up doing that. And then I made the second doodle, the one on the top, when I was wanting to make a unicorn character, because I really like unicorns, and this painting and this character design are very much inspired by The Last Unicorn. I don't know if you've seen that movie. It's a pretty old movie, but I always loved it. When I was a kid, I thought it was really interesting, and I loved The Last Unicorn and the human design of The Last Unicorn too. I don't know why, she always seemed really pretty. So that was the inspiration for making a unicorn character, and I decided to base it off of the concept I had before, since I did really end up liking that design and I wanted to reuse it. So yeah, that's pretty much the origin of this character's design. Basically just me repurposing a character because I really wanted to make a unicorn character, and I did. Yeah, like I said, this painting is very inspired by The Last Unicorn, and their design and everything. I actually made the sketch initially in E.V.A Paint X, but decided to draw it here instead. And yeah, I was still kind of playing around with their design here. As you can see, I'm trying to decide what type of tail I wanted to draw them with. I don't think I ended up adding a tail at all in the final product, because it kind of was obscuring a lot of things, but they do have a tail. I decided it was the thinner one that again looks a lot like what The Last Unicorn had in The Last Unicorn, those type of tails. Yeah, and right here I'm deciding on the colors. I knew immediately I wanted this unicorn to be a dark like unicorn, because all the time when you see unicorns, they're always white and pretty and very pale, but I wanted this unicorn to have a dark color palette and have like dark fur and gray, like medium gray hair and stuff, because it's just like a little take, like a different take on the unicorn. I colored their eyes blue here. I actually wasn't sure if I was going to color their eyes blue or green yet or not, but I kept it blue at the moment. And then I was coloring in the background. I really wanted this effect of like everything's kind of engulfed in this darkness except for the part that the light from the trees is coming through. And yeah, coloring in the trees too. This is a very fun one to work on. As you can see, I'm working on a bunch of details in the branches, even though I don't even end up, you can't even see it, but on the end. I don't know why I always do that when drawing trees. And yeah, now I'm adding in the spotlight effect. At first I was going to have the light be blue, like their eyes, but I changed it to gold, because that always looks more pretty, some nice golden light, and I'm trying to make the light appear more stream-like, so I added in some harsher lines and blurred those slightly less than the airbrush stuff. And still adjusting the tail, seeing if I wanted to add the tail in or not. Like I said, I don't actually think I ended up adding a tail at all. But yeah, back to the character. I realized I forgot to add in some hatching shading. So right now I'm adding some hatching shading. I did actually end up deciding on a name for this character. This is North. They are a healer. They can heal people with their horn. Even though the most quote unquote unicorns in this world can't really do that. Their species is technically called a satyr, and satyrs can look like what you imagine as a satyr, but they can also be different types of horses or horse-like things. So goats, unicorns, just horses, deer. They can be deer. But this one is a unicorn type satyr, and most unicorns don't have magic, but this one does. They have the ability to heal, and yeah, I also imagine them are the parent of this character. This character was from a short I made. If you didn't watch it, or if you don't know what I'm talking about, I don't blame you, because not a lot of people watched it, which is fine. I basically just made the drawing so I would have something that week because I didn't have a video ready. But yeah, they are a character that I really like, and so I imagine this character is the parent of that character design because they have a lot in common. And yeah, they're they can be very concerned about a lot of things. They can find a lot of things very dangerous. They're a little scared of the world, but they try to be brave for their child. Who in that drawing was more of like teenage age. So this character is a little older. But yeah, that's as much as I have as far as like story wise, because originally this was just going to be a character for this painting, but then I ended up making them a character because I really liked how they look here. Yeah, working on the rendering. Originally, I was gonna work on the like spotlight effect, or the dapple effect, where the leaves were, or the light was hitting them through the leaves, and it would be like all splattered around the character. It's hard to explain, but you've seen it before. You've seen it before in other drawings. But I was kind of struggling with that, so I ended up just rendering it instead, or yeah, rendering the character first, and then I was going to figure that out later. This is another painterly style drawing that I did, so lined it all with the same brush that I sketched with. Although in this case, it wasn't the same brush that I sketched with because I was sketching it at IBS Paint X. So yeah, and then I clipped the line art and base colors all in one folder, and then all of my rendering layers are going on top of all of that, like I usually do. And because I knew that the light was going to be coming directly above of them, I wanted the highlights and the hair and stuff to be closer to the top. But I went a little crazy and added a bunch more highlights to their hair too, because I like doing that with long hair, adding extra strands of highlight and stuff. And I was experimenting with like how to draw or how to render faces a little more realistically here. I have eventually figured that out. I've been doing that a lot more in my art recently. But here is just where I was kind of just figuring that out. And then yeah, rendering in their fur and stuff, because they have hair, they have body hair positivity. We love that. Yeah. I also gave them this sheer like cloak thing on top of the layers as well, which I didn't really render. When it comes to like sheer stuff like that, I don't usually render it because I find it usually looks rendered when I render the character themselves, so it ends up looking like rendered anyway, so I don't really need to do anything with it. And right around here is where I'm going to be playing around with the colors. Again, because I didn't know whether I wanted their eyes to be blue or golden, and if I wanted the lighting to match that, I was playing around with if I wanted the highlights on the characters themselves to also be blue, if I wanted the lighting source to be blue as well. In the end, I believe what I ended up doing was just leaving their eyes blue, but having all the lights and stuff be golden. And I decided to kind of mimic what I accidentally did in this sketch for the way that I would draw their eyes, just to make them look a little more unique and different. And I actually really love how it turned out. It looks really, really cool. But yeah, I believe I did end up leaving their eyes blue, but just leaving the highlights and stuff all golden and stuff. I think this works a little better because there's a lot of gold and stuff in painting, but because their eyes are blue and that it's like kind of one of the only blues besides the water underneath them in the whole painting, it leads your eye directly to their eyes. Your eyes to their eyes. That's how that works. Or more likely, their face, as I should say. And then I did decide to add some sparkles to like their sheer coat because that looked really nice. And then going back in and rendering the background more. I had this rock that was underneath their sheer coat because because that didn't make any sense. I got rid of it. I deleted it. Yeah, adding some moss and stuff to the rocks, making them more textured. I love some texture. And then I'll be rendering the water how I normally render water, which I don't really have a normal way of rendering water. But yeah, back to the dapple light effect. I was playing around with one of these ways, which was just adding a whole multiply layer over the entire thing, and then deleting some of the sections. And then I added a different step of blending all that out with the textured brush. And then a second way I was trying this out is just adding in some light with another textured brush and then kind of blending that out. I did actually end up going with the second way because it looked a little less harsh. And yeah, still playing around with what I wanted the colors to be, but like I said, in the end I did end up going with just gold for the lighting and highlights, but then just keep their eyes blue because that works much better. Yes, and also they are non-binary because I said so. Unicorns to me have always been one of the most androgynous, like, mythical creatures other than elves. So like, what else am I supposed to make them not non-binary? Come on, that doesn't make any sense at all. Rendering out the leaves. I've been trying to do a method where my over detailing of the trees actually makes sense and I have the branch kind of coming through the leaves. I ended up blurring that out quite a bit though, so you can't really see it. And then the last thing I added was, or one of the last things I added was some reflection in the water. I usually save this towards the very end, so that way I can render the character fully, and then when you see the reflection in the water, that looks exactly like it does on top because the character is fully rendered and the reflection is also fully rendered. Although, as you can see, the reflection doesn't actually show that much. I might have lowered the opacity a bit too much, but it looks okay. It looks alright. It looks okay. And yeah, once again, just adding some more lights and stuff. I decided to add in some like softer streams of light coming through in the very back, but they're very soft, so it's like harder to see. Yeah. Oh, I also decided to paint in some last minute effects as well. And one thing I also did in the main like streams of light is add in like sparkles and sparkle stuff as well to act as dust particles. And that was pretty much it. It's just me kind of adjusting things now. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a really fun painting to work on. It looks exactly how I wanted it to. And I really like this character design. I like unicorns. I like a lot of fantasy stuff. Fantasy is cool, especially when I can make all of them non-binary and as androgynous as I want them to be. Yeah, if you like this, you can check out more artworks like this on my Instagram or Artful if you're tired of Instagram. I have an Etsy shop where I sell mugs, prints, game or mouse pads, and my comic Lost Hearts. I also have other comics on Webtoon, Hike's Magical World, and Mysteries of Hysteria. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!